What if I told you that Carl Jung, one of the greatest geniuses of psychology, discovered that within you there are hidden signals, whispers of your soul, that already know the truth? You no longer need to wonder if you are important to that person because your subconscious already holds all the answers. From what might seem simple but is deeply transformative, within you exists a whole world, an invisible universe, which he called the unconscious. Our emotions are a compass. Use this compass today. Pay attention to your feelings after meeting with a person. Do you leave with a full heart or with empty hands? Protecting your energy is not selfishness, it is an act of self-love. Here is a turning point. You do not need to continue forcibly holding on to something. Letting go does not mean giving up, it means choosing yourself. Imagine there are two paths before you, one where you continue to fight for someone who is distancing themselves, and another where you allow yourself to shine, independent of external attention. Which path will you choose today? If you have read this far, it means that something inside you is already resonating with these hidden signals that Carl Jung left us as a map for navigating our relationships and self-love. We have already talked about how your subconscious warns you when someone is not right for you, whether it is through a feeling in your chest or an inexplicable sadness that you feel even when everything seems fine. But now let's delve deeper. Jung not only gave us the tools to listen to our soul, he also showed us that what we see in others, especially in the person who is distancing themselves, is a reflection of what we carry inside. This is called projection. Imagine you receive a short, curt message from him, and although you try to ignore it, something inside you breaks. You start to think, if I were funnier, prettier, more interesting. Jung would say that this thought is not just about him, it is a projection of your shadow, that part of you that you have not yet accepted. When someone distances themselves and you blame yourself, you are not seeing the truth about that person. You are seeing your own wounds reflected in their behavior. Here is the secret. Understanding this can free you from the need to prove yourself. Projection, according to Jung, is like a game of mirrors. Everything you love or hate in someone has roots in yourself. If you are annoyed by the fact that he is not seeking communication with you, it is not just because he is cold. It is because a part of you is afraid of not being good enough. But this works in reverse as well. If something in him attracts you, his confidence or ability to make you laugh, it is because these qualities are awaiting recognition within you. A practical exercise: take a notebook and write down 3 things that hurt you in his behavior, then next to it, write how these things remind you of something about yourself. For example, he ignores me might turn into, I feel ignored when I don't stand up for what is really important. If, when he distances himself, you continue to feel worthy of love, if his absence does not break your peace, it is a sign from your subconscious that you are connected to your authenticity. Jung believed that relationships corresponding to your essence do not make you feel smaller. They inspire you to be greater. Let's talk about letting go, because Jung taught us that letting go is not giving up. It is an act of strength. Imagine you decide to let go of a relationship that torments you, which only brings crumbs of attention after days of silence. And suddenly you feel relief, as if you have dropped a backpack full of stones. Jung would say that this relief is your subconscious celebrating your decision to align with your truth. When you let go of someone who does not value you, you are telling the universe, I deserve better, and the universe hears you. This is not merely a repository of forgotten memories. It is a living force that is constantly communicating with you. But in the chaos of everyday life, meetings, work, family obligations, and the constant pressure to be perfect, we have forgotten how to hear this voice. Let's take a typical situation from modern life. You met someone on social media, the communication seemed ideal. He wrote to you, sought meetings, and made you feel special. Instead of focusing on the person who is distancing themselves, do something for yourself. Put on a song that you love to dance to, cook your favorite meal, take a walk in your favorite places. The moment of courage comes when, instead of begging him to stay, you calmly say, I choose my peace. Jung would say that this is the moment when your subconscious and consciousness align, and when this happens, you begin to see magical signs in your life, what he called synchronicity. If he truly cares about you, his distance will not be a game for control. It will be a space that respects your value. But if his absence leaves only emptiness, it is your subconscious telling you to move on. Let's start with an important truth that Jung gave us. The subconscious not only warns us when something is wrong, but also shows us when something genuine is coming. An unexpected message arrives, not an empty hello, but something that makes you feel seen. I was thinking about you today. Jung would say that such synchronicity is not accidental. It is a sign of a deeper connection that overcomes distance. But here is the trick. It is not just about what he does, but how you feel. If this message brings a feeling of warmth and gratitude, it is a sign that you are not indifferent to him. But if it leaves you hungry, thirsting for something that never comes, your subconscious already knows that you deserve more. Jung believed that intuition is like a lighthouse in the fog. If his presence elevates you and his absence does not destroy you, it is a sign that you are indeed not indifferent to him. But if his distance makes you chase him, change yourself to keep him, it is not love, it is a lesson from your shadow calling for healing. Let's consider a practical sign that you can see right now. Jung taught that people who truly value you do not make you feel invisible. When he calls after days of silence, it is not just about what he says, but how he does it. Does he truly listen to you? Do you feel that your voice matters? Or does the conversation revolve only around him? Be aware of the one-sidedness of conversations. Jung said that genuine love is reflected in reciprocity if his distance is accompanied by respect, small gestures showing that he is thinking of you. It is a sign that you are not indifferent to him. But if his absence is an emptiness that you are forced to fill with excuses, your subconscious is already screaming at you to move on. Here is a practical tool. The next time you talk to him, pay attention to how this conversation affects you. Ask yourself questions. Do I feel lighter or heavier? Do I see myself reflected in his words or erased by his indifference? Jung believed that the fullness of life comes not from clinging to those who leave, but from reconnecting with your authenticity. When you decide to let go of a relationship that keeps you in suspense, something magical happens. Your energy changes. You start to notice that people who see you and seek your company more often. The project that you abandoned reignites. This is Jung's synchronicity in action. When you choose yourself, the universe aligns you with people and opportunities that reflect your light. Suddenly, something changes. His responses become cold. He distances himself, and you are left alone with the question, what did I do wrong? In such moments, the mind begins to come up with excuses. He's just busy. He needs space. But while your head rationalizes the inexplicable, a gut feeling persists. Let's take an example. Imagine that you have been waiting for. Jung would say that this is not a coincidence. It is your subconscious in the universe aligning, because you dared to let go of what was not serving you. Jung taught us that the emptiness that you feel when letting go is not a punishment. It is space for the growth of something new. You are truly important to someone when their distance does not make you doubt your value, when their absence respects your light and does not extinguish it. But most importantly, you are important to yourself when you decide not to settle for less than what you deserve. This journey is not just about him, it is about you, about that strong woman who awakens to her authenticity. Jung showed us that life is not about seeking outside what you already have inside. It is about remembering who you are and living from that place of strength and fullness. Jung taught us that this feeling is not paranoia or insecurity. It is your subconscious speaking to you in its own language, a language of symbols, sensations, and intuition. When a person distances themselves, it is not always because of you, but it is always a signal about the true nature of that relationship. Remember the last time you felt this, it might have been with a former partner, a friend, or someone who occupies your thoughts right now. What was your body telling you? What were you feeling deep inside beyond what you wanted to believe? Let's talk about the concept of the shadow, one of Jung's most fascinating ideas. The shadow is that part of you that you hide, that you do not want to see, your fears, insecurities, and the moments when you felt not good enough. When someone distances themselves and you start to doubt your worth, it is not just about them, it is your shadow coming to the surface. For example, you are sitting with friends at a cafe, and one of them says, "He isn't texting me, he must have found someone better." Or you are scrolling through Instagram, comparing yourself to the perfect photos of others. In that moment, it is not him who is making you feel small. It is your shadow whispering doubts that were already there. However, Jung did not see the shadow as an enemy. For him, it was a teacher. If you listen, look it in the face, it will show you exactly what you need to heal in order to stop depending on external validation. How do you know if you are truly important to a person, even if they are distancing themselves? One of the first hidden signals that Jung points to is how you feel in their absence. If their distance plunges you into a pit of self-criticism, if you start to doubt your beauty, wit, or value, it is not a reflection of love. It is your shadow asking for attention. A practical exercise: the next time you receive a dry message from a person who makes you anxious, do not rush to reply or delve into thinking about what to write. Instead, close your eyes for a second, place your hand on your chest and breathe. Ask yourself, what do I feel here? If there is anxiety, fear, or a desperate need to fix everything, this is a signal from your subconscious that something is not right.